Welcome to News Brief.
Today we're looking at a whole stack of recent updates from all over.
Yeah, lots happening. We'll try to quickly sift through these snapshots, point out the big moves, maybe some surprising bits, and see how it all connects for you.
Okay, where do we start?
Let's begin with the Middle East. The tension between Iran and Israel, it's ongoing. Fourth day now, reports say.
Right, and still seeing missile launches coming from Iran. There are reports of at least 5 deaths in Israel because of those.
And on the other side, Israel is claiming, well, they're reporting significant actions. They say they have air superiority, took out over 120 Iranian launchers.
That's a big number. And the overall casualties reported from Friday paint a grim picture.
They do. 24 deaths reported in Israel, but 224 in Iran. A very, very different scale.
And the international community is definitely watching. The UN, Russia, Turkey, they're all calling for de-escalation urgently.
Which you'd expect. The concern level is clearly high globally.
Okay, let's shift over to the U.S., a pretty big event over the weekend. The president's military parade, June 14th, Army anniversary, and his birthday, too.
That's the one. And the reaction, well, it was significant.
Yeah, massive protests reported. The theme was No Kings, I believe. Something like 2,000 cities involved, millions of people.
That's what the report suggests. And some prominent voices, speaking out, Reverend William Barber, mentioned specifically, quite critical.
So definitely a major public response there. Now, turning to immigration, the reports seem a bit mixed.
A little bit, yeah. On one hand, some reports mention a pause in certain ICE raids. Farms were mentioned specifically.
Okay. But then on the flip side, you have the State Department reportedly looking at potential travel bans.
For citizens from 36 additional countries.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does seem like different things are happening at once. A pause here, potential restrictions there.
It's complex. And then there's that other concerning report about HHS, Health and Human Services.
Right, sharing personal data, apparently included immigration status for people on Medicaid, shared with Homeland Security.
Wow. Okay, that's sensitive information. Definitely something that stands out in the reports.
Absolutely. Okay, let's look at the economy, some signals there. Market volatility in the U.S., definitely.
Stocks generally down. Small caps took a particular hit, seems like, down, 2.30%?
Yeah, this number reported. And connecting back to global events.
Oil prices. You have to think the Middle East situation played a role there. WTI crude jumped almost 13%.
13%? That's a sharp rise. And gold.
Same story, really, up 3.65%. That's the classic safe haven move, isn't it? Uncertainty rises, gold goes up.
Exactly. Investors looking for safety. We also got inflation data for May, the CPI.
Right, the Consumer Price Index. It was, well, pretty modest on the surface, up just 0.1% for the month.
Seems low, but the reports still flag concerns, don't they? Lingering worries about tariffs may be impacting things down the line.
Yeah, that undercurrent seems to persist, so still something to watch.
All right, moving on. Let's touch on tech, science, and health. Some interesting bits here. Tech first, with a geopolitical angle.
Taiwan, imposing export controls on Huawei and SAIC, the Chinese tech companies.
Fighting national security. It really highlights how tech and supply chains are just central to global strategy now.
Absolutely. And speaking of tech issues, Google Cloud had a bad day.
Oh, yeah? What happened there?
A major global outage. Lasted over 7 hours, apparently. Affected a lot of services that rely on it. That's a big disruption.
7 hours. Wow. That impacts a lot of businesses, individuals, everything. Okay. Elsewhere in tech. Europe.
Germany seems to be focusing heavily on AI. There's mention of an alliance between Deutsche Telekom and NVIDIA specifically.
Interesting focus. And just a quick news item popped up too. Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, the FTX lawsuit. He reached a settlement in that case involving the crypto promotion.
Right, that's settled in. Okay, shifting from tech to science. Some worrying reports here, potentially.
About climate research funding, budget cuts and possible layoffs mentioned at places like NOAA and NASA.
Yeah, and the reports directly link this to impacting global warming research.
And the administration's justification mentioned is cost reduction and avoiding what they call climate alarmism.
That's definitely causing some discussion. Okay, let's move to health. Some positive news, perhaps.
Eli Lilly, yeah. Planning to boost access for Zepbound, their high-dose obesity drug,
How are they doing that?
through their Lilly Direct platform. The aim is to get the price down to $99 or less per month, which could be huge for accessibility.
$99 or less. That would make a big difference for a lot of people. Good news there. Any other medical developments?
Yeah, one more interesting thing. The FDA has accepted something called Anafilm for review. It's from Aquestive Therapeutics.
Anafilm. What is it?
It's an oral film for epinephrine, like instead of an EpiPen injection for severe allergic reactions.
Oh, wow. So you just put it in your mouth.
That seems to be the idea. An oral alternative could be, well, a real game changer for practicality and maybe ease of use.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Okay, finally, let's run through some sports highlights quickly. Formula One.
Canadian GP results are in. George Russell got the win for Mercedes, his first of this season.
Nice for him. Who else was on the podium?
Max Verstappen was second, and Kimi Antonelli, Russell's teammate at Mercedes, got his first ever F1 podium in third. Big moment for him.
First podium, great stuff, championship standings.
Oscar Piastri still holding the lead,
Right.
198 points.
Okay. Combat sports, UFC.
In the UFC 5 game, they brought back Alter Egos and added Sean Woodson to the roster. Looking ahead, the next big fight mentioned is Jamahal Hill versus Roundtree Jr. That's coming up soon, June 21st.
Got it. And boxing.
USA Boxing's Junior Olympics and Summer Festival kicked off. Reports say record participation, which is good for the sport.
And the big fight announcement everyone's buzzing about.
Oh, yeah. It's official. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford, September 13th.
Wow, okay, that is a huge one. September 13th, marked down. All right, quick hits on soccer and basketball.
Yep. Club World Cup. Seattle Sounders lost 2-1 to Botafogo. Christian Roldan scored for Seattle, though. PSG had a big win, 4-0 over Atletico Madrid. And sadly for Palestine, they were eliminated from World Cup qualification after a 1-1 draw with Oman.
Okay, and NBA Finals, where we at?
Tied up, 2-2 between Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers.
OKC won Game 4 then.
They did, 111-104. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander reports highlighted him as being key in that win. Game 5 is today.
Tied 2-2, Game 5 today. It's shaping up to be a really good series then.
Definitely. Could go either way.
Woo. Okay, that really was a rapid run-through. Global tensions, U.S. politics and society, market moves, tech breakthroughs and bumps, science funding debates, health news, and a full slate of sports.
It's a lot, isn't it? But what really stands out, even with these quick briefs, is how interconnected things are. You see Middle East tension.
And boom, oil prices jump.
Exactly. Or domestic policy decisions impacting specific groups or sparking widespread reactions. It's all woven together.
And pulling together these reports like this, it gives you, the listener, a chance to quickly get up to speed across so many different domains and maybe start seeing those connections for yourself.
Right. So maybe something to think about is this. How do these seemingly separate items, tech export rules here, government data practices there, economic shifts, changes in science funding, how might they be signaling larger shifts, maybe in global power balances or tech competition or even trends in domestic surveillance or data use? What threads did you pull together from all this?